the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. He's going down the right sideline. He's on right now. Today's show is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods, Papa John's, and the Baltimore area Toyota dealers.
Hi, and welcome to the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. I'm Jerry Bembry, sports writer with the Sun. In our big game this week, the spotlight's on City and Northern, two 3-1 football teams battling for Northeast Baltimore bragging rights. We'll visit Eastern Tech, where the Mavericks met Catonsville in a Baltimore County football game featuring two unbeaten teams. And at Notre Dame Prep, Bryn Mawr's field hockey team was looking to remain unbeaten and unscored on going into Thursday's game. We'll start today at Loyola. That's where Curley's undefeated and nationally ranked boys soccer team made a stop on Thursday. Let's look at the highlights from the game between two Baltimore Sun top 10 teams.
It was heads or tails as to whether or not number 10 Loyola could match up against number 2 Curley. Action fierce from the start, with both teams feeling more pain than pleasure. Loyola, who has 5 shutouts this season, was in the game every step of the way, and when nationally ranked Curley tried to break away, the Dons' defense was in hot pursuit. Here, Marco Angelini with a stutter step gets free, fires a shot point blank, and an outstanding rejection by Sean Huth, keeping Curley off the board. Turnaround is fair play as Friar goalkeeper Adam Jackson, looking for a school record 9th shutout, 9 games, says, "I'll take that." Scoreless in the first half, both teams continue their physical attack on one another and try to take advantage of trip-ups. But first-year keeper Jackson kept his door shut, and halfback Steve Novak found Huth's door open, and the Friars break the deadlock and take a 1-0 lead. Novak says, "I can't celebrate with you guys. I got a style and profile on my own." All-American Curley graduate Giuliano Salenza says, "Better stay focused on the game, guys," which is what Brandon Correnta does as he beats his defender here. And look at the doubleheader action going on. Marco Angelini finishes it off, padding the Friar lead en route to a gut-wrenching victory in Curley's 9th straight shutout win, a 6-0 MIAA record over a tough Loyola lineup.
8th-ranked Notre Dame Prep welcomed 3rd-ranked Bryn Mawr to their home turf Thursday as the Pirates were hoping to stick a few in the net against unbeaten Bryn Mawr, who has held all their opponents scoreless. Action in the first half was seesaw, although Notre Dame kept the ball in front of their goal more often and the pressure on standout goaltender Katie Coyne. Bryn Mawr's defense was successful in spoiling the Pirates' attempts for a clean shot, and when they did manage to get one, Coyne was right there. Bryn Mawr's attack on goal proved otherwise. Here, halfback Amy Price feeds it inside, and sweeper Gina Novak was able to stir things up in front of Pirate keeper Colleen Smythe, while Carrie Fetting-Smith finds the handle and shoots it through for a 1-0 Bryn Mawr lead. In the second half, Katie Coyne continued her domination in the net, smothering any chances of NDP getting back in the game, much less scoring. Bryn Mawr's knockout punch came when Mitty Jen On pushes a pass to Jessica McAdams, who reaches and flips it to forward Megan Perry, who puts it home to give Bryn Mawr a 2-0 victory and keep Coyne's shutout streak alive.
The number 2 Mavericks came out smoking for their showdown against an unbeaten Catonsville squad. Ray Jones started the scoring early inside the 10 as he glides into the end zone for a 7-0 lead. Catonsville never quite got it going on offense as the Mavericks smothered and pounded the Comets all day. But this day belonged to the brothers Lawston, junior Stephen on the ground, and senior Anthony in the air. Here Anthony takes the ball all the way down to the 1 to set up another quick hit in the end zone by Ray Jones and a 14-zip lead. Then Stephen Lawston turned on the Jets with his 38-yard dash over a tackler to the 35. Then capped it off by hauling in a perfect strike from quarterback Scott Pierce for a 21-zip halftime lead. In the second half, it's Steve Lawston again going up for the grab, splitting 2 Comets and dashing 20 yards to the goal line and diving for the score. Catonsville managed one score by tailback Dwayne Thornton, but this game belonged to the Lawstons, and brother Anthony completes the storybook day, and Eastern Tech rolls to a 34-7 victory.
Now let's check out how the top 15 football teams fared, as well as some of the soccer results from around the region. Welcome back. A pair of 3-1 Baltimore football teams try to maintain momentum in a key midseason game. It's 11th ranked City hosting unranked Northern in Dick's Sporting Goods' big game of the week. Next on the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. Welcome back to the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. A year ago, City's football team finished with an 8-2 record. Yet the Knights failed to make the state playoffs despite wins over 3 teams that qualified for postseason play. So Class 3A City was looking to gain some valuable points in Friday's game against a 4A team, Northern. Before we go out to the game, let's look at this week's Classroom Stars. First, we recognize Kevin Johnson, a senior tailback from City, who has earned a 4.0 grade point average. And Derek Kane, a senior offensive tackle from Northern, who sports a 3.2 GPA. Now let's go out to City and Northern, the Dick's Sporting Goods big game of the week.
The Northern Vikings arrived at City hoping to stretch their win total to 4, but the City Knights had a different game plan in mind. When 11th ranked City touched the ball the first time, they showed why they are the defending league champions, as senior standout Bryant Johnson fields a punt, then starts a reverse, handing it off to Jawan Yancey, who serpentines through the middle of the field en route to a 65-yard touchdown punt and a 6-0 City lead. 2-point conversion was good. But Northern wasted no time in getting their offense engine going as they motored upfield on their next possession to set up their first score. It's quarterback Vinny to tailback Lowe for a 3-yard scamper into the end zone to pull within 2. Hammond's kick made it 1. City's offense has scored only 14 total points their last 3 victories, and the Vikings did not want to end the drought. Repeated attempts by Yancey to find Bryant Johnson, who has scored 28 points this season, were futile. In the second quarter, the Vikings marched 68 yards on 11 plays to set up this Hammond's 21-yard field goal to give Northern a 10-8 lead. But the Yancey to Johnson connection could be stifled no longer as Johnson hauls in the 14-yard strike for a 16-10 Knights lead. Northern answered that call, however, and took only a minute 13 seconds to go 65 yards into the end zone on this Vinny 13-yard pass to Lowe to give the Vikings the lead and the momentum heading into halftime. After a first week loss, Northern's defense has shut down the opposition and outscored them 89-0. City's plan, take to the air. Then count on Penn State-bound Bryant Johnson to make the big play. But it's the Vikings who were looking for a big play in the second half and just couldn't find it. They blew 3 scoring drives, including this 8-yard pass attempt, and could not pad their 1-point lead. In the fourth quarter, Lady Luck paid a visit to City as Yancey spots Brandon Watson 28 yards downfield. He catches a deflection from a Northern defender and carries it into the end zone for a City 22-17 lead. Northern made one last-ditch effort with 4 minutes to go in the game, and what looked like a first and goal from the 1 ended up 5 yards back with a penalty. That's not a dinner napkin. City's Jamal Gordon closed the door as he picked off Vinny's next pass in the end zone and sealed the victory for his teammates over a talented Northern squad.
I think our defense, when they were backed against the wall, seemed to respond a little better, so it may have helped us being backed against the wall. But defensively, we kind of laid them out at halftime, and they came back, and they did a super job in the second half.
I knew if we play as a team, we would come out on top, and that's what we did today. We played as a team.
Questioned South Carroll football coach Gene Brown about the play of his team in recent years, and the response, average. The Cavaliers were a 4-6 team a year ago and hadn't had a winning season since 1988. Well, South Carroll entered the Baltimore Sun football rankings at number 8 last week after starting the season 4-0. For that, Brown is the Toyota Coach of the Week.
Football has been my main love, pride my whole life. You know, I've been around the game for 40 years, and you know, I enjoy it.
During his 23 years of enjoyment at South Carroll, 7 as the head coach, Gene Brown has seen a lot of kids come and go. What he hasn't seen is a whole lot of change.
I see the athletes with the same goals, you know, trying to be successful, and they understand how important it is to be successful both inside the building and outside, because they know they can't go very far without a little bit of that education.
And Gene Brown had great success against a tough Linganore team from Frederick County last week when he pulled out a 29-28 victory on a 2-point conversion as the final seconds ticked off the clock.
I've been in that situation before, so I really knew what I was going to do beforehand. If we scored, that was the hard part, scoring. And in high school overtime, like I've said in the past, I don't care for it. And especially against a team like Linganore with a big offensive line, I felt like we were at a disadvantage. So it wasn't really a gamble. It was what we had to do. That was a huge win for us as a school because Linganore, although they're in Frederick County, don't get a lot of press in the Baltimore area. One of the best teams in the state of Maryland year in and year out. And to be honest, we haven't beaten them in 10 years. So the way we did it was great, but just doing it was a tremendous asset for us.
Congratulations, Gene Brown. Now here's a look at some of the area's best student athletes. When we return, we'll showcase this week's Toyota Athletes of the Week. Each week, Toyota and the Baltimore Sun will recognize outstanding male and female athletes of the week. This week's winners are Lauren Stump, a freshman goalkeeper at Notre Dame Prep. Her play has helped the Pirates to a number 6 rank, the team's highest ranking ever. Bobby Benson, a senior goalkeeper at Ghana. Benson had not allowed a goal all season going into last week. We congratulate Lauren and Bobby, the Toyota Athletes of the Week.
I'm the kind of person who works hard, who, is focused. Once I get in the game, I'm in the game. And it's, nothing really shakes that.
And nothing really seems to shake this talented 9th grade Pirate goaltender. When others her age may have felt intimidated trying to break into a lineup with upperclassmen, Lauren stepped right in and assumed her role.
It was difficult. I mean, these other goalies, they're good. It's great to have all 4 of us. We work together, practices. Emily and Brooke are seniors, and they're, treating me like equals. It's great. We work together. They're helping me build for next year.
Lauren is a very mature freshman. She's got a great demeanor for a goalie. She remains calm. She doesn't let mistakes bother her. She takes charge of upperclassmen on the field in an amazing way.
And Lauren had an amazing 32 saves for the 6th-ranked Pirates the last 2 games. But she's not resting on these accomplishments. She has other goals to fulfill.
I want to work as hard as I can work and do everything that I can, to improve my game. Keep working to keep getting better.
And for all your hard work thus far, Lauren, we congratulate you as our female prep athlete of the week.
There's a little added pressure on you as a goalie. And if you let it go in, it could be the game. But yeah, I like the pressure. The pressure's fun too. Something to drive you.
And senior goalkeeper Brian Benson has helped drive the Eagles to the area's number 3 ranking with 8 shutout victories, which has left him virtually worry-free.
My defense is great, so I don't have to worry too much. I just try to make sure everybody's marked up and make sure I don't have that much to worry about.
And personal goals?
My personal goals this year, I guess, would be to win 3 championships. 1 in soccer, 1 in basketball, and 1 in lacrosse. And for a team goal this year is to win the championship. We have a group of guys that have been here since they're freshmen, and most of us have been on varsity since we were freshmen, and our #1 goal is to win the championship this year.
Bobby has also set a goal of attending a top college or university next year.
Right now, I'm looking at Loyola, Hopkins, Cornell, and Princeton.
All thinking institutions, but that comes natural for Bobby.
I always think when I'm playing, I'm kind of a smart player. I'm not necessarily the most skilled player at anything. And thinking is definitely a major part of the game.
And we think great things are ahead for Bobby Benson, our Toyota Male Prep Athlete of the Week.
Now let's look at some of this week's best highlights, including the Outstanding Play of the Week.
Our highlight reel is a mix between offense and defense. First to the football, Northern quarterback Justin Vaney, wide receiver James Lowe Connect coming at you in your living room. Now a little D slow-mo style in case you missed it the first time. Sean Booth making a diving save against Curly's Marco Angelini. Then Curly goalkeeper Adam Jackson saying anything you can do, I can do better as he secures his league-leading 9th straight shutout. Now we turn to the ladies as Bryn Mawr's Katie coins his cat-like reflexes. We checked a point-blank shot by Pirate Ring Lauren Keller on the way to the W. Then back to full-speed football for our outstanding play of the week. City's Brian Johnson handles a punt and hands off to Jawan Yancey. On the reverse, he jigs in and out of the defense and goes 65 yards for the touchdown score.
When we come back, we'll meet Bradley Boggs, a young man who refuses to let a disability come between him and his love for athletics. He's the Papa John's featured student athlete, and we'll serve his story next on the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. welcome back. In an ideal world, Bradley Boggs would be playing soccer for the Sparrows Point High School team, maybe even basketball. But because of a physical disability, Bradley's world is far from ideal. Let's meet this special young man, the Papa John's featured student athlete. By all outward appearances, Bradley Boggs seems to be a typical ninth grader. He's a B student in the classroom. He plays saxophone in the Sparrows Point High School jazz and marching bands. And he's a member of the school's cross-country team.
I just thought I'd try it and see if it worked, and it did. I can contact sports, and but nobody ever stopped me from cross-country or anything like that.
To many, it's amazing that Bradley can even run cross-country. You see, Bradley is legally blind. He's been that way since birth. That he's legally blind means that Bradley has less than 10% of normal vision. Just what is Bradley capable of seeing? It's a distorted view, like this, or the equivalent of looking out of a dirty window.
I can't see nothing in my right eye, and I can see a little bit in my left, but it's like all blurry. It's like not all of it, but when you get farther away, it gets real blurry. I can't do nothing about my vision, so just try to deal with it.
Bradley's been blind since being born 10 weeks premature, weighing barely 1.5 pounds at birth. While he thinks about his lack of sight every day, Bradley accepts it and pretty much lives the life of a normal teenager.
I go bike riding and sometimes I hit something. And same with rollerblading. And I just get back up and do it again.
And what was it like for Bradley the first time running cross country?
Kind of scary. And then I got better and got to know the track.
What was the scary part to you?
That I would hit something.
Have you ever hit something?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you hit?
I stepped in a hole and I tripped. And I hit a tree, but I didn't fall over.
Aside from an occasional fall, Bradley appears to be a typical runner. In fact, most opponents don't even know about his disability, which is just the way Bradley wants it.
It don't really matter if they know it, just that they don't treat me different.
And he's treated no differently in the classroom. Bradley does read from books with larger type to compensate for his lack of sight, but he takes the same courses as his fellow students, although the challenge to learn is more demanding.
Everybody works hard, but then I gotta work harder than them to get the same grades.
And Bradley's dedication, both in the classroom and on the track, is truly an inspiration to others.
I think he helps people realize that they can do what they want, whatever they want, because since he's going after his goals anyway, it makes other people realize that they can do it too.
In practice, I just found out he was a special individual from that point on, that he would be able to adapt to what we were able to give him, and he certainly has.
Just hope people that have disabilities just try it anyway. And if you like it, keep on doing it, because you pay off in the hand.
Good job. Bradley.
By the way, Bradley's time in that meet last week, 16 minutes, 57 seconds, a personal best for the 2-mile course. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching the Baltimore Sun High School Sports Show. We'll be back again next week. Don't forget the Sun this week has full coverage of the baseball postseason. And of course, every day the Sun offers the best complete coverage of local high school sports. I'm Jerry Bembry, sports writer with the Baltimore Sun. Until next Sunday, have a great school week ahead. Our prep athlete